Welcome, welcome. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, gender. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So if you know what it feels like in the dark, are you blind? Or can you still see? You didn't use your eyes. You used what? What you had practiced doing, which was getting there in the dark. Listen, I trust that it is making sense to you because as we go through this world, it appears to be lots of things to be afraid of. It appears to be. But what happens to you when you begin to observe? What happens? You begin to trust because it's like that dark room that you have traversed so many times. You get what I'm saying to you? So today, my beautiful friends, trusting the process simply means every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. You know that if I do this, that's going to happen. That's what it is. That's what trusting it means. I know how this is going to go. So if you know how it's going to go, why fret? Why fret? Because you know how it's going to turn out. How do you know how it's going to turn out? Look at the effect, which is your feeling. Look at the effect of the way that inner conversation makes you feel. And when you see that, you would have exercised your trust in the process. Ponder that today. Let me see if I can give you another example. If you have to buy something, what is the feeling that comes up with that? This is something you have to answer this for yourself. What does it feel like when you say, oh, I gotta go buy this? Does it feel like, ooh, I'm excited to get it? Oh, you gotta get it, right? Or is it a feeling of, oh my God, I don't know if I can, let me check my balance. Man, I don't know if I can afford that. I don't know. I don't want to look bad. What if I go and I try and I buy it and it says insufficient funds? What am I going to do? You see the churning and the worry. Mm-hmm. See it? Then that's how you feel. So what's going to happen? A cause that matches your worry. So how do you get there now to change it? By answering the question, what would it be like if I owned that? How would I behave? How do I walk into that room and Be bold. Let me see if I can feel that boldness. And you begin to feel the boldness within, because it will arise. Listen, the outcome of seeking is finding. So if you found something, you were looking. If you found something, you were looking. One does not find willy-nilly or random. If you were looking for something, you will find it. And the way you feel will tell you it when you find it, because it will match. I cannot stress that to you enough. So take your time. Take your time and observe yourself through that feeling. Let me know. Let me know how it turns out. And remember, the moment that you judge yourself, you've now gone in a different direction. Why? How do I know? How can I be so sure? Because the moment you begin to judge yourself, you no longer feel the way you want to feel. You feel how judgment feels. Don't take my word for it, though. After all, we don't live by hearsay. We don't. But Angela, what if it doesn't work out that way? You always make it sound so easy. What if it doesn't turn out that way? What does that feel like to you? It feels like worry. And if it feels like worry, there's a fear under there. So what can you expect? An experience that is fear. I think you get the point of what trusting the process actually now looks like. So when you hear it, oh my God, girl, you just have to trust the process. You have to trust the process. You will know exactly what that means. You will know that every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. So you know, if you have that effect, which is that feeling, which is that behavior that you do, that's the effect. But then you know the cause. How do you know the cause? The way it makes you feel. How does the effect make you feel? Well, then the cause will match that. Because as within, so without. I trust that it makes sense. I do. I trust that it makes sense. Let's take a moment to welcome everyone who's here, shall we? I don't know who's in these YouTube streets, Facebook streets, Twitter. I know who's in Twitter because I can see. I meant to say TikTok. I don't know because they have not made themselves known. But I see you. And I say, hey, welcome. Twitter, welcome to the replay gang. Fan base, who's with us this morning? Summer Rose is here. Hey. Reacher. Howdy. Howdy, stranger. Full of smiles. Hey, girl. Oh, oh, who is that? Surreal. Oh, my, sir. It's been a minute, hasn't it? Yes, it has been a minute. It is great to see you. Oracle Tree House. How are you today, love? Hmm. Ray Ray. Mhm. Ray Ray. It's good to see you. Oh, Miss McQueen. Hello. I see you. And Moon and Dolphin Duck. I see y'all. So every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. To recognize an effect, you're looking for an action or an emotion. hmm And the way you do what you do and the way it makes you feel tells you the cause. That cause is going to have to match. So the easiest way is, how do you feel? Is that anger in your bosom? Oh, and remember, we do not sustain a feeling. We habituate it. What? That's a big word. No, it's not. We can't sustain happiness. We can't sustain sadness, which means you can't hold it out for an indefinite amount of time because everything moves. Nothing stands still. So if nothing stands still, how are you going to hold the feeling of anger all day long? What you do is you made it a habit. You made it a habit to feel that way. How do you make it a habit? By doing the same thing the same way every time, responding the same way every time. So now it looks like you're sustaining that anger and you're angry all day. No, you just habitually go to anger. So now you get to decide. What do you want to experience? What would you be doing if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be? Begin to rehearse that. Test it out. Feel it out. Is that how you want to feel? You want to feel good? Let me tell you something. I got an update about popcorn yesterday. They are, I forget how many roosters there are. I think there's 4 of them or 5 of them. And when they begin to get out of line and start fighting each other, who steps in the midst of it? Popcorn steps in the midst and he says, "What the hell y'all are doing? You're crazy." And everybody stops what they're doing and they go their separate ways. Popcorn breaks it up. When he walks in, listen, I knew this when I saw what I saw in him. I knew the type of rooster he was going to be by his mannerisms. He does not suffer fools. And this is why you couldn't ever tame him per se. You had to let him be what he was, what he is. And he literally will strut right there like he's just a true born leader. That's what he is. How does he know? That's not the question I want to ask. I want to ask, how do we not know about ourselves? How would we not know about ourselves? The way he looks at you and tilts his head. He's got quite the piercing gaze, that one. Not timid at all. So how do you get that for yourself? How do you get that attitude for yourself so that you can walk into any space and command it? You have to have command of the self, to know the self. And when you know the self, well then, you know how you will act, cause, and effect. We keep wanting to see how strong we are. Well then, you will have to experience something that shows you how strong you are. So when you keep telling me, oh my God, I'm so strong, find another way of saying that. What, are you breaking walls with your fists? That's the only reason why you'd need strength there. You need the ability to be courageous, to see, to comprehend. Comprehension. Lead with that, you know? So as you go out in the world today and you interact with people, you can interact with people, just don't entangle. Because that's a whole other ball game. How do your interactions make you feel? Check that and you will know. Do I want to feel this way? Or do I want to feel something else? And you will realize, just like that person said to me yesterday, I'm just beginning to feel so peaceful. They're just beginning to feel more and more peaceful because they're realizing how they want to feel. Right? So they have stopped the arguments in their own head. I think you get the point of trusting the process. Final example. The outcome of rehearsal is enactment. The more you rehearse something, the more confident you become in it, and then you act it out. That is the outcome. That is the process of rehearsal. Process just means the pathway. So if you say, let me just experience in imagination what I would be doing in life if I were the man or the woman I wanted to become. Let me rehearse that attitude. You don't rehearse the attitude because you're trying to hype yourself up. You rehearse the attitude because the rehearsal itself brings the effect of acting it out. That's why you rehearse, so you can act it out. You don't rehearse because you're hoping that what you rehearse is what you're going to do. Because now you're not rehearsing, you're hoping. When you rehearse, you have to immerse yourself in that rehearsal so that when the director goes, action, all of the feelings that you're supposed to have, they just pour forth from you because you have been rehearsing them. And because you have been rehearsing, you have to act it out, which means you will get the experience that corresponds to what you have rehearsed. So what are you rehearsing in your mind's eye? What are you rehearsing in your mind's eye? Are you rehearsing how you would respond to the police if you get pulled over? Okay. Are you rehearsing how you're going to behave if somebody confronts you? How are you going to respond? You will respond in the fashion that you have rehearsed. And if you are rehearsing tranquility, if you are rehearsing having a deeper relationship, if you are rehearsing, just a closer walk with thee, if you're rehearsing that, well then, you're going to have that experience of closeness. You see, sometimes we keep turning to rituals to bring us closer to something. It is not the ritual that brings you closer to anything. When you do a ritual, you are practicing doing a ritual. So then you just act out the ritual. What is the result that you want? That is what you act out. Because every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. So what you rehearse and how you feel when you rehearse it will tell you what you will experience. That is the process. The inevitable outcome of rehearsal is enactment. That's the process. Anywho. Oh, Patrice, darling, I see you. And who is this new person? I don't know how to say it. Croissant? Is that how I say it? I just venture to guess. Right? That is correct, Reacher. Rehearsal is the stage play we act out on the stage of consciousness. It is indeed. And how you play the game is how you practice for the game. Well, don't we know that with Michael Jordan? Don't we know that with Steph Curry? LeBron James? The way they play the game is the way they practice. But we keep thinking that the principles are somehow far-fetched. When in actuality, they're everywhere. Listen, you move through principle. You move through principle. You have your being in principle because you're not separate from principle. You are the embodiment of principle, of law. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and gender. You are the embodiment of those things. Now you know that you're the embodiment of them. Ray Ray. This is why. Exactly. Ray hit it on the head. He says, you might spend a few minutes on the stage, but you spend months rehearsing for that role. Yes. That's why if you're going to dedicate your time to rehearse, make it worthwhile. You put everything you have into that moment.